Hello, my lovelies. It is time for my TBR Knockout 2022 announcement. So stay tuned. Hello, my lovelies. So at the beginning of 2021, I released my TBR Knockout reading challenge announcement, and everybody seemed to really love it. And I keep having people ask me, am I going to do it again for 2022? And the answer is yes. So I have gone through and created, well, the same thing but with different prompts, and I really hope you guys like the prompts that I have for you for 2022. Okay, so for January, the theme is New Year. So the first prompt is read a book that you meant to read last year, or finish a book that you started last year. So at this point in time, I don't really have any examples to show you, but literally anything that you wanted to read in 2021 or that you started to read in 2021 that kind of carries over into 2022, that counts, okay? And the only rule, I guess, for this is that you can only read one book for one prompt. So your prompts, you have to read at least 2 books each month from your own TBR. So the point is to knock out the TBR that you already have. So don't go out and buy a book to fill this prompt. Find a book that you already own that fills this prompt. And you can tweak it if you need to with certain things, but the goal is to read at least 2 books every month from the books you own. Okay, so for challenge number 2 for January, it's to read the first book in a series. January's the first month, let's read the first book in a series. So a couple of examples that I grabbed here are Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston, or Before She Ignites by Jody Meadows. And unfortunately, when I started filming this video, I didn't change out my battery. So I'm starting out this video with needing to switch my battery. So yeah, go me. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me flip this around, or let me change this out. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry if the angle changed. Okay, on to February. So February is a short month. It is our shortest month. So the theme for February is short. So for prompt number 1, read a short story collection. A couple of examples. We have Half Minute Horrors. This is by several different authors, including Lemony Snicket, Neil Gaiman, and James Patterson, and more. I also have Am I Blue, which is edited by Marion Dane Bauer, and it's coming out from the silence. And the second prompt for February is to read a short book. And for that, I would say anything under 250 pages counts as a short book. So several graphic novels would work for that. Some other examples might be Push by Sapphire, or The Test by Sylvain Nouvelle. So in March, we have our first day of spring, and it's all about transformation. So that's the theme for March, transformation. And the first prompt is to read a book that has some form of shape-shifting. So a couple of options would be Moon Chosen by PC Cast, or City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. For prompt number 2, we have read a book that includes magic. So you could use Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. This is a Wizard of Oz kind of retelling. Or maybe Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim, which is like Project Runway meets Mulan and a touch of Aladdin. I love it. And then April, the theme is spring. So for spring, the first prompt is to read a book with flowers on the cover. So some examples might be Tyler Johnson Was Here by J. Coles, or Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore. Okay, so the second prompt for April spring, it's all about new beginnings. So for prompt number 2, read a debut novel. Now this doesn't have to be a book that just came out this year. It could be an author that's been writing books for 20 years, but you go back and you read their debut novel. That works. But a couple of examples I have here are The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna, or Ray Bear by Jordan Ifueko. Okay, so for May, the theme is birthday, and that's because my birthday is in May. My birthday is 5/7, so prompt number 1 is 5/7. Read a book with 5 to 7 words in the title. So an example of a book with 5 words in the title, we have The Haunting of Ashbourne House by Darcy Coates. A book with 6 words in the title, we have The Strange Fascinations of Noah Hypnotic. And an example of a book with 7 words in the title, we have The Last True Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake. For prompt number 2 for May, because May's birthstone is emerald, I decided to make this prompt, read a book with green on the cover. So it can be a lot of green, like A Fierce and Subtle Poison by Samantha Mabry. Or a little bit of green, such as Cindy Ella by Robin Palmer. Okay, so June is Pride Month. So the theme for June is Pride. And prompt number 1 is to read an LGBTQ+ book. So some examples would be Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, or None of the Above by I.W. Gregorio. And prompt number 2 gets a little more specific, and that is to read a book with a trans or non-binary character, which I believe None of the Above also is. But we have Stay Gold by Tobley McSmith, or When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore. Okay, so for July, everybody's on vacation, they're wanting to go to the beach, get a tan. So my theme for July is beach reads. And for prompt number 1, that is to read a book with some kind of water creature. It can be fish, it could be mermaids, it could be some kind of beast in the water or whatever. So some examples would be Alicia in Atlantis by Nathalie Lane. There are lots of different sea creatures in this. The whole school is like underwater and everything. The whole city is underwater. And another example would be A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow, mermaids. Okay, so for prompt number 2, read a book with water on the cover. Some examples would be Shadow Creek by Joy Fielding. There's a creek here. Or Give the Dark My Love by Beth Revis. There's like waves crashing here behind her. And in August, the kids go back to school, so the theme is back to school. So for prompt number 1, that is to buddy read a book. It can be any book you want, with anybody you want. Just have to buddy read a book. And if you need somebody to buddy read a book with, I am constantly, like, I have a different book that I buddy read every single week pretty much throughout the entire year. And if you would like to be added to my buddy read group on Twitter, it's @CompletelyMel. Just send me a message on there saying you want me to add you to the group, and I will add you. We do a lot of buddy reading. And for prompt number 2, that is to read a nonfiction. So I have a couple of examples here. We have Tiny Dancer by Sienna Cherson Siegel and Mark Siegel. This is actually a graphic novel, and I think it's more like a memoir of Sienna and the struggles that she went through as a dancer. Then we have Paperback Crush The Totally Radical History of 80s and 90s Teen Fiction. And then for September, which if you don't know, we do our Fall into Reading-a-thon in September. For the beginning of fall, the theme is fall. And prompt number 1 is to read a book with leaves on the cover. So I have A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. We have these beautiful red leaves. Or Fablehaven by Brandon Mule. If you look, there's trees back here and the leaves are on the tree. Okay, so for prompt number 2, we have read a book with red, orange, and or yellow on the cover. So some examples would be Dorothy Must Die Stories Volume 1. It pretty much has all 3 colors on the cover. There's also Bright Raven Skies by Christina Perez. I think we have just about every color on that one as well. Or Burn Our Bodies Down, which is mostly like red and orange. This is by Rory Power. Okay, so for October, the theme is Halloween. And the first prompt is to read a paranormal book. An excellent example of that would be Wolf Song by TJ Klune. Gay werewolves. Fabulous. For prompt number 2, that is to read a book with the word black in the title or the series name or the author's name. So an example of a book with it in the title, we have Thisbe Theestoop and the Black Mountain by Zach Gorman. In the series name, we have Wild Savage Stars by Christina Perez. This is the second book in the Sweet Black Waves novel, or Sweet Black Waves series. Or with the author's name, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. And then in November, I don't know about you, I personally don't really care for this time because like this thing that happens in November, because it makes our days so short. But at least here in the US, I don't know that other countries do this, but in the US, we roll our clocks back in November and it makes our days so short. It starts getting dark at like 5:30. But the theme for November is roll back the clocks. So the first prompt is to read a book involving time travel. So an example would be The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. Or Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. The second book is to read a book with the word time in the title or the series name. So an example might be Half Upon a Time by James Riley. Or it could even be something like Back to the Future, Untold Tales, and Alternate Timelines. It has lines. Another one I thought of was Jim and the Holograms, Volume 1, Showtime. And then last but not least, for December, the theme is Merry Bookmas, because of course we have our Merry Bookmas readathon during December. So for prompt number 1, we have read a book that makes you merry. So this can be something that is like a holiday themed and it's just gonna get you into the spirit of Christmas or whatever. Or it could, like, for example, Tinsel, The Girls Who Invented Christmas by Sibylle Pounder. Or it could just be something that's going to make you laugh, or just something that's going to make you happy reading it, something that you enjoy, maybe just something that's going to put a smile on your face or make you laugh, like Geekerella by Ashley Poston. And for the second prompt, read a bookish book, because I love me some bookish books. So an example might be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. There's a bookish setting. We've got some bookish characters. A bookish book to me, it's a book within a book, a bookish character, a bookish setting, anything like that, it counts. Another example would be Story Thieves, The Stolen Chapters by James Riley. Or you could even interpret this as reading a book that's been mentioned in another book, if you really wanted to stretch it. So an example of that might be Along the Saltwise Sea by A. Deborah Baker. This book series is mentioned in her book Middle Game, that's Shauna McGuire. She also wrote this as well. And so you could even use this for your bookish book. Oh, and one more example of a book within a book. We have The Reader by Tracy Chee. There is a book throughout this, and it's like certain pages are from the book and certain pages are the actual story that's going on, and it's interesting. Okay, so those are all of the prompts for the 2022 TBR Knockout. Do you like the prompts? Are you already thinking of books to fill the prompts for yourself? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!